Alright, it's got my full video play order in order this time. I think a video slid by me last week on one of my playlists, which had me fucked up, but you know how it goes. Welcome back, Team DWC. It's your boy TWP Popcorn, aka Spider Pig, because this is Super Saturdays. Y'all know what time it is. Time to wake up and go nuts for you hot dogs and donuts. I think I might change it to that way. It's time to wake up and go nuts for you hot dogs and donuts, because you know we have hot dogs and donuts over here watching our show. I don't know what it means. It just sound good. If it don't sound good, I don't know what it means. Hey, anyways, y'all know what we do. We wake up early on Saturdays to watch Dragon Ball content, because you know that's what we do. If you don't like doing it, go ahead and hit the thumbs up on your way out. You know how y'all be. Shouts out to all the homies, because we appreciate the homies. Yeah, they come through, show support whenever they can, I guess. Make sure this screen is looking better, because I've been watching my replay and sometimes the quality just be going to hell, but hell, it is what it is. Keep telling y'all, if y'all actually like the studio quality, go get the studio quality over on the Rumble. Other than that, we're getting into it today, because you know there's Dragon Balls to talk about.
Vegeta, back off. He's mine. If you want to die, I'm not going to stop you. But you do realize you'll just be providing him with more energy, don't you? Don't interfere, he says. Excellent.
That 12 to 6 elbow, boy, right to the dome.
I calculated every contingency. Either you aren't quite as powerful as we were led to believe, or perhaps we're stronger than your precious calculations accounted for. Hurry up and send this piece of junk to the scrapyard, unless you'd rather I interfere and do it for you. I was born as the embodiment of evil, purged from Ka. I'm not nearly as soft as Goku.
Speaking of Goku, soft ass.
Well, I want to remind everybody of something. I know there are some Dragon Ball fans who are like, we want Dragon Ball Super, and oh no, you made Goku a kid again. And I can tell you from my own experience doing it, what's great about Akira Toriyama is that he can take one of his, an old concept or an old idea and make it fresh. Like when Resurrection F came out, even when we heard about it, I remember thinking, oh man, Frieza again? I thought we were done with Frieza. But then it was amazing. Yeah. And then they brought back Cell, and I thought, oh, when are we going to have a new villain? But it was amazing. So initially I was like, hey, he's a kid again. I mean, I was GT, but I know if it's his project and he wants to do it and it's his baby, it's going to be great. Yeah. He's really just so good at just telling stories and such a master of comedy and humor and creative ideas that while I'm a little sad I'm not Goku in most of it, I am in the beginning and the end probably. I haven't seen the last part yet, and I can't say too much. But and I think they just announced a theatrical release for the English dub, which I don't know when that's coming out, but that was a surprise to me actually. They just called me one day and said, "Oh, some of this in theaters." I'm like, "Oh, all right, right." That's cool.
What up?
That's fine. That's great. And that was really cool. So I'm confident for those of you hardcore fans that are like, "But I didn't want Kid Goku." I still think it's going to be amazing.
I agree.
Because of Akira Toriyama's magic touch.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're all going to miss that. And I think it's going to reverberate throughout the universe forever.
Yeah.
So, and I'm here for the rest of Z Super when it comes back, if it ever does come back, because they would be fools not to finish it. But that's up to the folks in Japan. We got to respect that.
Yeah.
But I'm here for it if they need me, and the journey is going to keep continuing. Yeah. So, and I know they announced this at New York Comic Con last year. I know they made a 10-year plan with Akio Yoko's company, Capsule Corporation. They want to do more movies and more video games. So, but they have limited bandwidth. One Piece is real popular right now.
Yeah.
Toei animates that as well. One Piece is an amazing show. So, I'm just excited for Toei's success in that regard. I'm also grateful to them as well and all the support they've shown me over the years of playing Goku, etc. So it's just been, in spite of this tragedy that we lost Akira Toriyama Sensei too soon.
Yeah.
There's beauty in what's left to do.
Yeah.
For his powerful, powerful work.
Yeah.
And I would not be sitting here knowing any of you or shaking your hands if a young Japanese man in the 80s decided to not draw a little Goku.
Yeah.
And so I'm here because of the power of one and a pen and imagination of staggering proportions.
That's so good. I think so many of us are here because he drew Goku one day, right? Because Goku really set the stage to change manga and anime storytelling and for forever.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of us are here because of that. And that's why I'm so pumped about it too, because it's one of the last things that he's leaving for us, and everything he's touched, in my opinion, has been really, really good. And from a fan perspective, same thing with Resurrection F and Superhero. I was like, dude, Frieza again?
Yeah, exactly.
Holy cow.
And it was great.
And then Superhero was like,
Cell? What? But it was great.
It was
But like he said, that's the reason why Akira Toriyama got away from killing off his villains. I mean, what's the point of killing somebody that you done built up? I mean, what's the point of killing somebody you built up? You build these villains up to be badasses, and then you kill them because why? Oh, the story needs this guy to die so that way he never comes back. And nah, that makes zero flipping sense, especially in the realm of Dragon Ball where they frequently die anyways. Goku done died a couple times, and Krillin's died more than anybody. But he keeps coming back either. So they don't get mad when Krillin keep coming back, but they get mad when the villains keep coming back. Make that part make sense. Come on now.
awesome.
So
Okay, that was great.
that's why I'm like, if it hadn't been written by Akira Toriyama, I'd be like, sus a little.
Yeah.
I'd be like, is it going to be good? Because he wasn't all over GT, and some people like GT, some people don't.
I mean, we like all
I like
Dragon
GT
Ball.
just fine. I
We
think it's
just
good.
like some less.
And they're borrowing more elements from GT. People are like, is GT canon? Well, they're using Pan more. They're using their Super Saiyan 4 and Sparking Zero. So they're starting to borrow more elements.
Because like Toyotaro said, it's all canon, baby. It's just like watching Saw.
Hey, JR, nigga. Ain't it a blessing? We made it out of last after all that. Hell yeah, that bitch, nigga. After Michigan State, after Hubbard, when our mans told on us, the bands they took from us. Joy Road, bitch, with the money long as 6, mom, big mom.
Imagine that. You just got paid $100,000 cash.
This is Captain Ginyu of the Ginyu
Doing a
Force
show.
with a special message.
Police pull y'all over and trying to take y'all road.
Keep the 101.
There are some very, very important things right now going on in the world of Japanese animation that we call anime, most of us do, involving Toei Animation. And this is going to affect Toei's big IPs. I'm talking about Digimon, I'm talking about Precure, I'm talking about One Piece, and yes, this includes Dragon Ball. So I want to go over this recent article that came out officially from Toei Animation, translated from Vinixis. Shout out to Vinixis. He has been translating stuff really, really effectively and dropping news for the past several months, almost a year. I feel like this guy came upon my radar. And there is some big news about Toei Animation's expansion, which will obviously affect the world of Dragon Ball and the future of Dragon Ball as Toei continues to work with Akio Ioku's Capsule Corp Tokyo and Bandai and, you know, Fuji TV and whoever else might be involved. So I'm going to go through and kind of summarize what's going on for you guys, but as always, make sure you watch the video all the way to the end. I'm going to try and be as clear as possible here. I'm going to try to make this information easy for you to understand. So make sure you leave a like, and if you're new to the channel, subscribe. This is the place to go for accurate Dragon Ball news, as well as historical information and fun videos.
And that's the one thing we do like about our homie at the Real Geekdom, aka Emperor Big D on Twitter, aka Big D Geekdom 101 on what is that, X, And, go check out his Instagram and his original content on YouTube. Because, hell, we appreciate our big homie for making sure he has the facts and he checks his references and his sources. Because, he grew up in those old days where you actually had to put in the work to be relevant.
Streams, of which I may do one about this very topic. Also, don't forget, if you're coming back here for the first time in a while, I have done videos and streams in the past couple of weeks about this upcoming Dragon Ball event in January and this big sort of teaser about these two new projects. And this right here ties in with that. Okay, so Venixis writes, Toei Animation has announced the first phase of a 10-year plan aimed at turning the studio into a world-class powerhouse, not only by exporting anime from Japan, but also by creating content directly in overseas markets. That's kind of a big deal. The fact that Toei Animation wants to make basically animation projects outside of just Japan for North America, South America, Europe, and different places, that's something you would never expect from Toei, who's been in Japan as their lead anime and animation company going all the way back to 1956. I mean, literally. So the plan includes continuing to expand the studio's flagship IPs globally. That would, of course, be One Piece, Dragon Ball, Digimon. Maybe even if they do another Dragon Quest anime, that might also be included. Hundreds of hires in key roles within the main studio, Oizumi Studio. So they're doing mass hires, and that's good to know because they're going to put a lot of money into this expansion. And hiring more people, especially younger people, is good. If you've been following my channel for any length of time, especially if you're an OG, you know I've talked about how Toei is run primarily by a bunch of old codgers, dinosaurs from a previous era, which is why they don't really understand how big Dragon Ball, One Piece, and even Sailor Moon are outside of Japan, right? So it's kind of wild. Establishing 2 to 3 new studios in Asia to support Japanese production within 5 years. Obviously, they have a studio in the Philippines, Toei Phils. They obviously have, I think they have one in Korea. And they're probably going to open up some more, probably in Japan and other cities of Japan. So that's already big because having more studios means having more time to make better quality anime. And if you watch the video I put out a few days ago about what's happening with One Piece now going seasonal is the best for One Piece and for the future of Dragon Ball. This is the Dragon Ball channel, but this news affects way more than Dragon Ball, so share this out with anybody who is a fan of One Piece, Digimon, and many of you I'm sure are as well. It says here, new visual expressions and experiences that go beyond animation. It's a little bit, vague about going beyond the animation, but I'm guessing it has to do with the next 2 bullet points. Creating further visual expressions, not only cell, look, CG, and then expanding assets and environments, developing next generation technologies, VR, AR, XR games, motion capture, AI, etc., and various adjacent technologies. Toei has talked about using AI for in-between animation and things like that. There's been a lot of talk about the industry switching over to AI. Now, AI is a very controversial topic because big companies are hopping on board to using AI now, both not just in America, but across the pond in Europe and in Asia, in Japan. And NVIDIA, the $5 trillion NVIDIA company that's the leader in AI, they just hit $5 trillion. And they're a Korean-based company, I believe. So I know that AI and the arts, like art and animation, is super controversial. A lot of people do not like AI, especially artists. I'm not exactly sure how Toei will use AI. Hopefully not for storytelling, because that's the last thing that we need. But I hope it doesn't mean that some of the great animators will be jobless someday and that computers will be making everything. But that story is still developing. These companies are going to do it. It says here, investing about 70 billion yen over 5 years in the development of productions. Now, 70 billion yen comes out to about $450 million. So they're putting 9 figures into this expansion, and then it says put artists at the center. Now that's good to know. And then there's the big paragraph here. I'm going to just summarize this, but essentially they're going to be doing things where they're going to cultivate new types of talent to work on new types of projects, and it seems like better communication with them. And it also says here another goal is to publicize the artist's role, like with Genga Key Animation Drawing, the exhibitions, been behind the scenes posts on social media. So that hopefully means that as these Dragon Ball and One Piece projects come out, that the people behind the scenes that work on them are going to get shine. And that's good to know, because I feel like the YouTubers and a lot of us content creators in the Dragon Ball space, we're the ones that talk about the Sheetas and people like that, right? That we talk about them. You never hear Toei really talking about them as much as they should, right? And they should, because they do work hard, and a lot of those guys are underpaid. I mean, this has been a story historically about animation, having that issue with Japanese animators being underpaid. I'm not saying that the Toei guys are, all of them, but you'd be surprised at some of the numbers I've heard throughout the years about what they make. And so giving them some shine, and maybe even with the 70 billion going into paying them more, that's good. That is a good thing. And then here's the big one: global expansion, tripling the creation of new IPs with a target of 25 IPs created overseas, North America, China, Europe. The goal is to strengthen global development capability and make animation created overseas a second pillar of the business within 10 years by investing about 20 billion over 5 years in overseas development. That just means that they're going to have several bases around the world to create anime simultaneously and to create different projects. It talks about North America, Central, South America, Europe, Asia, China, Middle East, Africa, and India. A base in Dubai is planned to seize growth opportunities. Dubai was growing pretty big in the last few years. Don't know if it still is. And the company intends to lead pre-production of works in North America and Europe, incorporating regional cultures and local artists, hiring people outside of Japan. 19 billion yen over 5 years. This is a huge deal, okay? This is, again, it's going to affect not just Dragon Ball. This is not...
Yeah, that was billion with a B.
just a Dragon Ball news update, but Dragon Ball and One Piece are the two big shonen kings for Toei. They're the two big shonen properties that bring in the most money for them. And so it's going to positively affect them. So everything seems to be lining up, man, with Akio's involvement. Hopefully Shueisha will untighten that grip and we'll get more Dragon Ball Super manga content. This right here is not about the manga or anything but the...
Let me open a new tab, because I don't like being alone in my chat. What? It said I don't like to be alone in my chat. Hey, if ain't nobody else gonna watch it with me, I'll watch it with me. You dig? See, here I go, right here, top of my freaking algorithm. If you ain't coming up at the top of your own algorithm, I don't know what you're doing. Mute this one. Be the first person to like my own video, and we'll get right back to it.
The anime and the movies. So make it with what you will. I think it's good that they're going to expand. I'm not a fan of this company, but if they're actually finally coming to the 20th century, or 21st century, what am I saying? It's 2025, almost 2026. I'm glad they're here in the I was about to go back in time here in the 21st century. So I may do a stream about this. I haven't decided yet. I will be seeing you guys again later this week. Stay tuned and take care.
Super Janemba versus Super Boo. Just like their previous forms, these two transformations mirror each other. Super Janemba is vastly stronger than his earlier form and makes quick work of Super Saiyan 3 Goku, defeating him with ease. To determine a winner here, it's helpful to compare how Goku and Vegeta fare against each villain. In Hell, Janemba utterly dominates them. They're beaten down and quickly realize that fusion is the only viable path forward. They never attempt to fight him again individually once they lose. In contrast, when Goku and Vegeta fight Super Boo from inside his body, the situation is different. While still heavily outmatched, they are able to exchange blows and continue the fight. It's also worth noting that their power is significantly reduced in this battle, said to be about 1/100th of their original strength, due to the shrunken size inside Boo. Though fusion is still considered necessary to defeat Super Boo, Goku and Vegeta put up more resistance against him than they did against Janemba. Some might argue Goku was stronger in the anime's filler segments during the Mind Trap arc, but even setting that aside, their performance against Janemba was clearly more one-sided. Given this, the edge in a direct matchup leans to
So, you find yourself on the Unrelent Gaming channel. How fortunate for you. I, Lord Freezer, will spare your life as long as you subscribe and turn on notifications. Also, don't forget to become a member of Unrelent Gaming's Patreon for tons of exclusive content to early access media and much more. Do it now, or else.
He said, or else.
Now, although I'm a little surprised to see Vegeta return so soon after just being sent out into the Mirror Realm to go and speak with the Elder Sage, I have no doubt that there was something that Vegeta had been told that will at least help him while on this journey for a greater power. But even now, before we resume everyone's training, I wonder what other surprises lie in wait for us prior to the beginning of what is waiting for us on the horizon.
That's what's up. Appreciate you.
As our story now continues, following the initial events of the Elder Sage being to reveal himself to Vegeta upon having to be shown entering within the Mirror Realm, to which it was only shortly after the Elder Sage had explained to Vegeta as to what this realm was, with Vegeta having more questions to ask the Elder Sage, was when Vegeta went on to then respond, "Tell me then, since you appear to know so much about why I'm here and what it is that I'm searching for, then tell me on where I need to look in order for me to go and find what it is that I'm looking for, Sage. Where exactly am I supposed to look, or is there something more to all of this that you have yet to tell me about? Because now I want to know." With the Elder Sage responding, "You ask on how I know what it is that you are searching for, but I have been observing souls like yours for eons upon having to enter into this realm, as you are also not the first Saiyan that the Angel Lease had sent here, as you may already know, for your hunger for power and your hunger for transcendence radiates from your very being," the Elder Sage continues, "for you seek an evolution that far surpasses your previously God-surpassing level, which at your peak goes far above the gods of destruction as you wield this mastered ultra ego form of yours. But allow me to ask you, how are you so sure that the answers that you are in search for are not already right in front of you, which you have yet to see?" "Well, because had I already would have seen the answers that were lying right in front of me," Vegeta went on to then respond, "then I wouldn't have been told to come into this realm, now would I? So what are you able to see that I cannot, Sage?" With the Elder Sage responding, "Many things, in fact, and your future is one of them, though it is clear to me that you cannot see it for yourself, but I most definitely can, as you are rather an interesting specimen when compared to the Saiyan mortal who came here before you. Yes, for you are far more vicious and far more ruthless than the Saiyan who came before you, Kakarot, as you call him, for it is his approach is one of instinct and adaptation, while yours is driven by the unrelenting thirst to surpass every warrior who dares to stand before you. And yet even then, what you fail to realize is that your greatest enemy along with your greatest challenge isn't one that comes from the outside, but it is rather one that comes from deep within, with Vegeta responding, "Is that so? And why is it that you believe that I am my own greatest enemy with my biggest challenge coming from within rather than on the outside? How do you know this to be true?" With the Elder Sage responding, "Because unlike the Saiyan mortal Goku, the evolution that you seek that goes far beyond your current level of power isn't one that is forged through life, but is rather one that is forged through death, Saiyan. For your biggest step forward is also one of your greatest fears, for unlike the Saiyan mortal Goku, your greatest challenge is to see if you can overtake death and rise through the fires right out of it as a new warrior altogether, because where Son Goku had found his strength through rebirth and through renewal, your path, on the other hand, is the opposite, for your evolution lies not in life, but in death, Vegeta. For the very essence of death is not merely an end, but it is rather more of a transition," the Elder Sage continues, "a force that shapes those who are strong enough to understand it, as you will go on to find the answers that you seek in the moments when death becomes inevitable, only when there is no escape, and if you don't want to go and take my word for it, then turn around and see for yourself. For it'll be within those moments," the Elder Sage went on to continue upon Vegeta being shown turning around and noticing a strange silhouette behind him, "where you must go and come to terms with what death truly is, not just as an opponent to be feared, but a force to be mastered," the Elder Sage says. "And to evolve, you must not only accept death, but master it as well. But remember this, for I will not give you all of the answers that you seek, for you must undergo and discover these truths for yourself, and at the precise moment when death stands before you, only then will you truly evolve." With Vegeta responding, "So is this supposed to be the reflection of my newly discovered evolution, or am I looking at the concept of death having to overtake me? Because why is it so difficult for me to go and see as to what this is?" "Well, that is for you to decide," the Elder Sage responds, "as I cannot tell you when, nor can I tell you how or why, but only you will be the one to be able to determine on what happens when that time comes." With Vegeta responding, "And how are you so sure that what I'm looking at isn't just a reflection of some other previously existing transformation, or for this to be some kind of illusion? How could you be absolutely sure?" As the Elder Sage responds, "Heed not, because if you truly want to know, then try and look a little deeper and you will feel it calling out if you haven't by now, Saiyan." "I see," Vegeta responds, "and so whatever this is that I'm looking at that comes from the other side is essentially either going to be my ultimate accomplishment or my greatest downfall. For I can also feel it calling out to me, but how exactly am I supposed to strive to achieve whatever it is that I'm looking at, especially if it means achieving it in a completely opposite way to how Kakarot was able to achieve his angel form? And so is it by cheating death?" With the Elder Sage responding, "But I warn you now, Saiyan, for if at any point you stray away from this path, if you're devoted..."
Now, we all know what Final Destination said. It ain't no cheating death, okay? It's going to keep coming and keep coming and keep coming. So basically what he just told me is you're going to have to accept your destroyer powers fully and become death. Meaning if Vegeta gets summoned, whoever it is going to be getting whacked, okay? Goku going to fight with you and he going to be playful. I'm here to kill your ass. So, you know, if you something serious, you fight me. If you reoccurring bad guy that might become a good guy, you go fight Goku ass.
Falters, and if your will to surpass yourself begins to wane, then your quest for true evolution will perish alongside with it. For power, true power at that, is not gained through half measures, as it is within the very moment that you begin to lose sight of your purpose, the very force that drives you towards the ascension that you seek will fade, the Elder Sage continues, leaving you forever by the wayside, stranded in your own mediocrity to which it was only upon with Vegeta now being shown having to turn around and noticing his silhouette being gone was when Vegeta went on to then respond, "What? And what exactly do you mean by having it per what the? Wait, but where did that shadow that was just standing right in front of me through this mirror just go? For it had just disappeared, but why? Did I miss something just now? With the Elder Sage having to chime back in, this is what will happen if you lose sight of where you want to be in exchange of worrying on where others are rather than focusing on your own destiny, Saiyan. For I have said all that I needed to go and say to you, and do with that information as you will," the Elder Sage continues upon them being shown grabbing onto the back of Vegeta's shirt. "And while you're at it, do make sure to go and tell your Angel Whis to warn me ahead of time the next time he decides to go and throw one of you in here," the Sage continues. "Now get out of my realm and don't come back unless it's important, Saiyan." To which this was exactly what the Elder Sage had in mind, because with Vegeta being shown having to be thrown back right onto Beerus's planet was when the surprise Goku then went on to quickly respond, "Oh hey, it's Vegeta. Well gosh, that was pretty fast," with Whis chiming back in. "Well indeed it was, but do tell us now, Vegeta, were you able to acquire the answers to the questions that you were looking for?" To which it was only during this time when then having to venture on back and seeing what both the Omni Kings and the Grand Priest were up to following their construction of the Omniversal Tournament of Power stage was when the Grand Priest went on to then respond, "Now while I am sure that the Omni Kings are going to be far too excited for this upcoming event to follow my tracks and see what it is that I am up to once everything here goes exactly as they intend for things to go, I will only then see if I can track whatever that was down in the process and see if I can come up with some kind of answer as to what that energy surge was just now, and so perhaps I will go and pay a visit to the Watchers and see if they may know of or have seen anything that could bring me one step closer towards finding out as to what that energy was, as while my body appears to be shaking not because of fear but rather because its sudden and brief appearance," the Grand Priest continues, "only makes me question more as to what the source of that very power had come from." But then, it was suddenly from the stage beneath the Grand Priest with both of the Omni Kings shown having to address the Grand Priest was when the present Omni King went on to then respond, "Hey, Grand Minister, we love it. The stage is just the perfect size for the battles that we want to see be a part of this massive event, but we also want to go and ask you something else in the meantime since all three of us are already here, right, future me?" "Yeah, that's right, because since we're almost done with everything, we wanted to go and ask you if you can go and do us both a favor, as in right now, if you could," with the Grand Priest responding,
right now.
Well, very well then, sires, and what exactly is it that you would like for me to go and do for you both in the meantime then, with the present Omni King responding, "Well, since we really didn't have the chance to go and directly speak to them ourselves, since we already know that they'll be taking part of our Omniversal Tournament of Power 2, we would want for you to go and summon the remaining 4 strongest in the multiverse so that way we can go and speak to everyone all at once at the same time," with the future Omni King chiming back in, "That's right, and furthermore, we also want to go and address on when this event will be going and taking place so that way we can have all parties be ready for once the second Tournament of Power finally begins." Goodness, well I should have known that you'd want for them to come forth and speak with them before this grand event were to take place. However, be that as it may, I will go on ahead and spawn them in within this realm now, and so let me see if I can go and get them for you in the meantime. But then, it was only just upon with the Grand Priest being shown opening up a portal just before having to venture out and bringing the remaining 4 strongest into this realm was when the present Omni King then went on to chime back in, "Well actually, Grand Minister, we didn't mean for you to have to go and get them individually by leaving and going out of your way to come to them, so instead, we were thinking if you'd stay here and have all 4 of them come to us instead. So that way, not only would that save you all of the time of going into each of their worlds to go and get them, and so you can just call them right here instead," with the future Omni King responding, "Yeah, I agree, and so you should go and come down onto the stage here with us and call them all forward into this realm together instead." "Well, as you wish then, sires," the Grand Priest went on to then teleport down onto the stage, "for I will now go and do just that and bring them all forward before you both while we all remain in this realm together as one, so that way you may go and address and speak to them as you see fit, and so in the meantime while I go and do this, please allow me for a moment to assist you while I call for them, for I I welcome you both to go and take your seats in the meantime, so that way I may go and call upon our guest in style and fashion while you both go and wait and speak to them all then, shall we? To which, as the Omni Kings were then shown having to do so, it was only just within that very moment as the Grand Priest went on to address the Omni Kings by sticking his arms out was when the Grand Priest then went on to continue. And so now during this time, I would like for you both to sit back and just relax as I will bring the mightiest in the multiverse here to you, sires. And so now then, let us go and proceed by bringing about the entryways of the mightiest. For each dimension and each realm that the four strongest reside in is but a very unique place of its own, with each containing different elements that not only define the laws of time and space within our own natural order, but it also introduces worlds that were directly responsible for shaping the strongest to be who they are today. And so with that being said, allow me to now go and call forward the 5th strongest ranking warrior in the entire multiverse, the mighty god of the Dragon Realm and master shapeshifter known as Budo. And so now come, Grey Warrior, for I call upon you to step forth and make your presence known, to which as the 5th ranking strongest warrior in the multiverse, Budo was then shown doing so. It was only while Budo was now shown having to enter into this dimension was when the Grand Priest then went on to continue. And in case you may have forgotten, sires, for Budo's ability to shapeshift into virtually any warrior he learns about is also of the highest order, for he is able to alter his form at will to adapt to any combat situation, as this ability also makes him extremely unpredictable in allowing for him to switch between forms to better enhance his speed, defense, or his strength depending on the needs of the battle itself. However, it is not simply his power that sets him apart, but it is the way he approaches the realm of combat that makes Budo extremely dangerous in almost any given situation that he's placed in, sires. For Budo here also governs over a dimension where he finds himself constantly engaged in combat, the Grand Priest continues, not only for the sake of growing stronger, but almost as though as if it's done for his own amusement on top of it all as well, to which as Budo was then shown finally exiting was when Budo went on to address the Grand Priest by responding, "It's been quite a while since I have last seen you, Grand Minister, for despite me being in the middle of my meditation, I must ask on why you have decided to summon me, as you typically aren't shown having to call for me unless it is something very important that stems outside of training itself, and so why was I brought here?" With the Grand Priest responding, "Well, and I second that, as it is always good to see you, in fact, but I called for you to be brought into this realm in order for yourself, along with the remaining strongest within the multiverse, to go and be informed of the coming events that will be directly driven by the Omni Kings who sit before you, as we in fact will be hosting another tournament which both you and the others will be a part of in competing within. For you can almost think of this as being something a little similar to the event that was held involving the Saiyan mortal Goku, which you and the others have gone on to battle, only this time, of course, on a far bigger and much larger of a scale than how it was shown be done before, as Budo went on to then respond, "Another tournament that was similar to the one held against Son Goku, you say? Now I see, for this must be his doing, given how he went on to go and bring this up to them the last time that we had seen him. But if the Omni Kings plan on hosting a far larger and much bigger tournament than before," Budo continues, "then as long as that Saiyan Goku along with his ally that goes by Vegeta are competing, then I'm in." "Well, good, for I'm glad," the Grand Priest responds, "but I would now like to call forward the 4th strongest ranking warrior in the entire multiverse, the mighty magician and master sorcerer of the Dark Prison Dimension, Akuma. And just in case if you may have forgotten about what this warrior is all about, then allow for me to go and fill you in and say that as a sorcerer of the mightiest caliber, Akuma can not only go as far as to bend reality itself to his very own will in shaping the world around him through the force of his magic to best suit whatever situation he finds himself in, but his sorcery goes on to further enhance his combat techniques in allowing for him to strike with lethal precision, for every move that Akuma makes is calculated and strategically planned out for the best possible outcome in battle, with each of his spells also being designed to debilitate his opponents before they can even realize that they are even in danger in the first place, as Akuma's illusions are not mere tricks, but rather blur the lines between what is real and what is false until his enemies can no longer know on which way to turn, or simply respond as to figuring out what they can do, and that's when Akuma will strike, to which as the Grand Priest went on to address Akuma was when the Grand Priest then went on to continue, well, it's been a while now, hasn't it? But just like Budo, it's good to see you once again, as I thank you for coming here on such short notice, Akuma, with Akuma responding, Honorable Minister, for it is good to be within your presence once more, but I must ask, why was I summoned here so suddenly? For I would like to know on what is your purpose of my presence being here before you, with Budo having to then chime in, well, if you really want to know, then you might want to go and take a look directly above you, for it would appear as though we were brought here because there is going to be an event that will be held that will require for us to compete in, for there is going to be a second tournament that was similar to the one waged against the mortal Son Goku, only this time, the tournament itself will be hosted by them, the Omni Kings, for that is why we were called here, with Akuma responding, a tournament to be held that was similar to the one waged against the mortal Goku. Why, yes, the Grand Priest responds, for there is indeed going to be an event that is going to be hosted by the Omni Kings that will surely be our biggest one to date, and while the Omni Kings have asked for all of you to be here during this time, before we are all briefed on what is to come in the foreseeable future, the Grand Priest continues, it's time we go and call forward the remaining elite who are among the strongest warriors in the multiverse, because with 2 down, allow me to now call forward the 3rd strongest ranking warrior in the entire multiverse, the Grand Priest continues, as I now bring before you a being not just of extraordinary power, but a warrior whose very abilities challenge the very foundations of life itself, as I hereby introduce you to the great demon known as Yoshido. For among the 4 strongest warriors in the multiverse, Yoshido is not only a master soul possessor capable of reaching deep into the essence of others and bending their will to his own, but Yoshido's techniques are very unorthodox by its very nature, and in many ways, they also go on to defy logic and reason, for he doesn't merely just carry on by dominating his opponents through sheer strength, but Yoshido tends to break his opponents down from within by severing their connection to their own identity until they become nothing more than just an extension of his own will, and what also makes Yoshido so terrifying is that his powers are not just invasive, but they can also be made permanent in taking whatever soul he deems worthy enough as a prized possession, to which as Yoshido was then shown having to emerge was when Yoshido went on to then respond, well, and what do we happen to have over here? For I had a feeling that the rest of you would have been here, and so what is this all about? Are you all throwing some kind of a party here, or what? With Budo chiming in, oh great, it's him. Do you ever grow tired of playing such childish games? Because we weren't summoned into this realm to celebrate anything, Yoshido, with Akuma responding, for you should pardon your humor or lack thereof, and take into consideration the real reason as to why we've been summoned into this realm, Yoshido, with Yoshido responding, well, aside from the Grand Priest calling for us, which it is an honor to be within your presence once more, Grand Minister, the last time that we were all brought forward like this was when we first had learned about and came face to face with that Saiyan mortal named Goku about a year ago, and since that mortal warrior doesn't appear to be here alongside with us, then why exactly are we here? With the Grand Priest responding, well, actually, you don't need to look much further other than right there, for the very reason as to why you have all been summoned here is mainly because of the Omni Kings, and while they plan on forging along with hosting a new tournament that you will also be taking part of, I'd actually say that the reasons as to why you have all been called here is most definitely an important one, with Yoshido responding, the Omni Kings, and wait, did you just say that there is going to be another tournament that is going to be taking place? Well, how very interesting. Now I see. Well, excuse me for not knowing a little sooner, oh great ones, Yoshido continues upon being shown having to bow, but if you plan on hosting another tournament with the five of us as stars of your upcoming event, then far be it from me to decline, especially since I also look forward towards battling against that mortal Goku again, since of course we never truly had the chance to finish our battle after I was swapped out during the middle of my fight against him, and so you can
What
all
up, Sue? Good to see you. How you doing?
a spectacular
I'm gonna go check out the blood
because that
files.
much I can most certainly go on to guarantee. And so now with that, the Grand Priest went on to then extend his arm by continuing, I present you the final of the four and the second strongest warrior in the entire multiverse, as I hereby call forth the supreme warrior known as Takira. As for a title such as being hailed as the second mightiest warrior in the entire multiverse is earned not by mere circumstance, but mainly and solely through unmatched power, tenacity, and skill, for Takira is a force of nature and one whose very strength alone would place him within the highest echelons of power, but it is not just his physical might that sets him apart from the others, as Takira's mind, his foresight, and his unparalleled fighting instincts make him a warrior who is far separated when compared to the rest, for Takira also possesses incredibly phenomenal abilities that allow for him to see beyond the present in granting him momentary precognition, in further ensuring that every move and every decision he makes places him 20 steps ahead of his opponents, as his foresight is not merely just a skill, but a weapon itself, the Grand Priest continues, in thus making it nearly impossible for Takira's enemies to ever see Takira coming, but regardless of the situation itself, for Takira is very relentless in battle and also driven by an unshakable will to win, no matter the odds that are placed in front of him, as his determination fuels every aspect of his being and allowing for him to push beyond his physical limits time and time again, even when having to face overwhelming adversity, Takira's spirit remains unbroken, to which as Takira was then shown having to step forward was when Yoshida then went on to respond, well, would you look at that, for it would seem as though the gang is finally back together once again, now isn't it, as it's been quite a long time there, Takira, with Takira responding, indeed it has, for we wouldn't have been summoned here if the matter itself wasn't important enough for it to be addressed, and so now that I'm here alongside you all, I intend on finding out as much information about our calling that I possibly can, so in the meantime, it is once again and always an honor to be within your presence, Venerable Minister, Takira went on to then bow by responding, but I must go on to ask on what the purpose of you calling me into this realm alongside the other mightiest is, for I would like for you to explain as to what this is all about, and so could you go and elaborate any further, with the Grand Priest responding, well, the pleasure is all mine, Takira, and as honored as I am to see you here once again, the purpose of your presence being called upon within this realm actually happens to involve the Omni Kings who are in fact sitting right above you, as both they, along with myself, are going to be hosting a massive omniversal event that is going to be very similar to the tournament that you yourself were shown taking part of, when it was both you alongside with the other mightiest who went on to face off against the Saiyan mortal Goku well over a year ago, with Takira looking up by responding, the coming of an omniversal tournament similar to the one that was held when having to battle against the Saiyan mortal Goku. Yes, for now I see.
Good to see you, Kelly. How you doing?
Something that the Omni Kings were
I know we're gonna check out. I bring it every day.
Since it was Son Goku who had went and brought up the concept of there being another tournament taking place up to them again, and so now it all makes sense as to why we are all here, for I would only assume that if they are looking to host such
Doing my Super Saturday thing over here. You know how I do. Consistent corn in the building.
Information prior and having to prepare, to which as Takira was then shown bowing was when Takira then went on to continue, all-powerful Omni Kings, it is my highest honor to be standing here before you as we further await to hear on what it is that you both have to say now that we are all here upon your request, as the Grand Priest then went on to respond, well, and there you have it now, sires, for we here, the top 5 strongest warriors in the multiverse, are all gathered together and humbly await for your response, as both of the Omni Kings then went on to respond, yay, this is so amazing, because we were waiting for such a long time on getting something like this to actually happen, and now that you're all finally here, we can't wait until we start to watch you fight again, only this time it'll be from warriors from all across different timelines and dimensions as well, and so we can't wait, with the Grand Priest responding, well, as I'm sure that the mightiest here beside me are also just as fired up and excited about this coming tournament as you are, sires, but be that as it may, and with all of us here now present before you, tell us then, if you may, what exactly was it that you intend to have the 5 of us here to be a part of, and more importantly, since of course course, I am also curious by what you have in mind is how exactly do you intend to structure the upcoming rules, rewards, perks, and punishment for those that will go and be involved? And is there anything rather in particular that you have in mind for the strongest here, since they are likely going to be the core of what will make this Omniversal Tournament of Power 2 so special? And so is there anything that the two of you had in mind that you would like to go and share with us while we are all here before you, sires? As the future Omni King went on to respond, wow, this is just so cool! As I can only go and imagine on how amazing this upcoming tournament of ours is going to be, especially once we start to see the strongest fight against the
Now, with the way they finna do this tournament, hopefully, I mean, it's complicated because it's gonna be multiversal for one, so that means you're gonna have a lot of people that's gonna have to fight. But then you got 4 people right here that you want to see fight also. So it's like, hold on, is everybody got to run the fade? Huh? What's gonna happen? You got 4 different people that you want to see everybody fight, and then you got 18 universes potentially across multiverses of those universes, the strongest versions of them to fight this person. So I mean, bros projects usually take about a year, so he finna get in his bag apparently. For those that ain't paying attention, we appreciate that part of the game.
strongest, and so there's so much for us to go and get into, right, Present Me? With the Present Omni King responding, you bet, and while we can't wait to go and get in on all of the action as well, here's what we had in mind for those who win, those who lose, the winner of the tournament, and the rewards of what we promised to offer once the tournament is finally over. As it was only right then and there now, during that moment, where the Beyond Dragon Ball Super Story of the Omniverse, the official top 5 strongest warriors in the multiverse sequel, manga chapter number 5 special, then comes to a close.
Well, actually, I'll go ahead and take it from here, as I do want to go as far as to address something very important with our dear viewers at the moment. As before I go and give you the following information, if you aren't already a member of Unreal's Patreon community, then you are truly missing out on so much without you even knowing. Because not only is the next episode already on the page, but if you want to support all of the manga content that you see and gain access to tons of exclusives along the way that range from a variety of different things, then we do encourage for you all to become members of our Patreon community today, for we will link everything down within the description box below and pinned comment section as well. Now I will go as far as to say that although with the Omni Kings now getting ready to reveal the consequences and rewards for their upcoming Omniversal event, it would appear as though that with the 5 strongest now present, and also surprisingly interested in competing within the Omniversal tournament, one has to ask on just how powerful did these warriors truly become since the last time they were here alongside everyone, and what kind of rules and regulations are the Omni Kings looking to put in place for this event, especially since they now seem to be very interested in laying down the law prior to this event starting. And so you do not want to miss out on what is about to happen coming up next. So we hope that...
I like how the dude from, well, the sage from the mirror realm looked like fucking Demon God Rajan, but he was short as fuck. He was like 2'10", because you know Vegeta's already short, being like 5'11". They said they wanted fucking, who was that? Our dude who played Wolverine to play Vegeta. I was like, are you serious? He's already too tall to play Wolverine, and now y'all gonna do the same thing to Vegeta? That's crazy. But you know, shout out to Hugh. You know what I'm saying? He's too tall for the roles that he actually is good for, right? All these short kings are getting misrepresented by me because I'm, 6 foot.
Smashing that like button on your way out, as well as subscribing to Unreal and Gaming's channel in case you are new around here. We thank you all for watching and hope you all have a wonderful day, everyone, as we'll see you all in the next one.
Now, I know it might be weird.
They're gonna have to start altering the videos to make them like we recorded Hugh for the role, but we had to size him to where he was like 5'2".
But what I will do is encourage you all to subscribe to Unreal Gaming for the latest Dragon Ball content. And while you're at it, make sure to like the video. Also, don't forget to become a member of Unreal Gaming.
That is entirely too many spots though when you look at Cell. I mean,
early access and much, much more. Do it now, or I'll destroy your planet. along with every
Entirely
talk.
too many spots.
Hey, don't just waste the goddamn thing. Pass it here.
Then you wonder why they stopped wanting to draw this shit. He said, man, we designed a character that we hate to draw. That'd be that BS right there. Oh, man. Let's see. Chat's doing what the chat do. We got 2 thumbs up, maybe 3 or 4, because you know they like to hide a couple while you live. Then you'll be like, man, that's more lives than I remember I had. Well, hopefully it's more, because you know sometimes they like to hide stuff from you too.
So, you find yourself on the Unrelent Gaming channel. How fortunate for you. I, Lord Freezer, will spare your life as long as you subscribe and turn on notifications. Also, don't forget to become a member of Unrelent Gaming's Patreon for tons of exclusive content to early access media.
Of course, I like how he does his rollouts too, because you know he coming with it. He got the manga looking version, then he comes with the color one with the background, you know, give you the little semi-animations. Then he comes with the other animation, because you know he got different styles out here.
I don't think so. You're not going anywhere because there is still a lot more that we have yet to show you. So don't forget to become a member of Unreal's Patreon for more exclusive content and upcoming videos. We hope you enjoy the things you're about to see. So you better not leave because we aren't done. Come now, Broly. Let's finish our battle. Now enjoy.
一人前の戦士として対等に戦ってやる。最強の座は誰のもの？教えてやる。もっと全力で戦わせろ。力ずくで従わせるまでだ。少しは楽しめそうな奴が出てきた。貴様がここまで強くなるとは思っていなかった。正直言って驚いている。この俺が協力をしたんだ。そうでなくては困る。今回はこいつを選んだ。
What did I say? See, Vegeta's short. This dude's short as hell.
最強の戦士と聞くが俺より強いとは思えん。気にするな。お前とはずっと戦いたいと思っていた。ハビシンか。相手にとって不足はない。囚われの運命から俺が解放してやる。戦いは俺に任せておけばいいもの。お前という想像
And he just tosses Vegeta the fuck up out of there like, wow.
見覚えのあるチビ。このチビどこかで見たことがある。腕を上げたようだな。即あの平和ボケ野郎にここまでの力が眠っていやがったとはな。一人前の戦士気取りか。俺の力を見せていい戦いにしよう。俺から奪いたいものがあるなら力ずくで来い。腕ならしに付き合え。かかってこい。お前もその程度か。消えるのは貴様だ。数値では測れないお前の強さ。実に興味深い。究極の戦いが楽しめそうだな。俺の力をテストしたいのか。腕を上げたようだが感じるぞ。強大なエネルギー。決着はまた今度。二人まとめて片付けてやる。俺は新たな力を手に入れた。お前という創造主を超え見覚えのあるチビだ。どこかで見たことがある。このチビ消えるのは貴様だ。少しは楽しめそうなやつが出てきたな。いただいていくぞ。なかなかのエネルギー。 力ずくで来い。俺から奪いたいものがあるなら腕を上げたようだな。強大なエネルギー感じるぞ。楽しめそうだ。究極の戦いが力ずくで従わせるまでだ。お前もその程度か。俺の力を見せてやる。いい戦いにしよう。俺より強いと思え。見覚えのあるチビ最強の選手と
What's going on, man? Good to see you. How you doing? Hopefully you having another good day. It's Super Saturday over here, so you know how we do. Good day in paradise.
貴様もだ。俺の力をテストしたい。
眠っている力とやらがあるなら見せてみろ。そんなものが本当にあるならな。あとは俺様に任せておねんねしとくんだな。受け止めきれるかな。
究極の戦いが楽しめそうだな。相手にとって不足はない。囚われの運命から。
今までの俺と同じだと思うなよ。俺はまだまだこんなもんじゃない。なかなか高く売れそうな星を見つけてな。この戦いが終わったらならんことをグダグダと。ガキの頃の方が強かったんじゃないか。メイドの土産にいいものを見せてやるか。
消えるのは貴様だ。かかってこい。腕ならしに付き合え。お前という創造主を超え、俺は新たな力を手に入れた。感じるぞ。腕を上げたようだな。強大なエネルギー。究極の戦いが楽しめそうだな。走るか。相手にとって不足はない。力ずくで来い。俺から奪いたいものがあるなら力ずくで従わせるまでだ。
This motherfucker done said somebody from high school. Nigga, I am 40 years old, so that was past 20 years ago. Hell, I'm starting to be like Akira Toriyama. I don't remember what I did yesterday, god damn it. Hell, it's good to see you though. How you doing? How you been, boy? How you been?
何も気にせず徹底的に貴様と戦いたかったんだ。今こそ超えてやるぞ貴様を。ふぬけた貴様などもはや俺の敵ではない。貴様の手助けなんぞ期待していない。俺が間抜けだっただけだ。
二人まとめて片付けてやる。決着はまた今度。いい戦いにしよう。いただいていくぜ。なかなかのエネルギー俺が解放してやる。囚われの運命からこの地に腕ならしに付き合え。かかどこかで見たことがある。がっかりさせるなよ。まさかそれで本気か。どういうことだ。最強は俺でなくては。
やっぱおめえと戦うのはワクワクすんなエビタ。
面倒ですね。そろそろおいとまさせていただきます。あなたはもっと気を制御する方法を覚えなくては。それができれば超えられるかもしれません。
私たちは第2回パワートナーメントの構築に向けて
he walked in there but flies up out of there. Goku didn't see nothing wrong with that. Yeah, he just tossed your ass up out of there and said, boy.
ワカラウンドはランダムに選択され、このような予期せぬ出来事が起こるとは予想していませんでしたが、状況自体は私が当初予想していたよりもはるかに悲惨である可能性があることは言うまでもありません。
大臣は大丈夫か。
私たちはもちろん何も変わらない場合はさらなる行動が必要になる可能性があります。
今度は全宇宙だけでなく時空を超え、さらには異なる現実のあらゆる存在の戦闘員を見たいです。歴史上最も偉大な戦士たちが果たして今回の大会は第1回大会よりさらに盛り上がるでしょう。グランドブラスト。
ホットタブレットを使用して試合をランダムに選択するため、戦闘が開始されるまさにその瞬間まで対戦相手が誰であるか分かりません。それは
私たちは多元抜きのトップ選手た
What's
ちを
this, Scary Movie 3?
彼らの中で誰が一番強いのか知りたい。
Why ain't shut your dumb ass up?
最強の存在は誰だ。血の目の前で戦っているのを想像してみてください。彼らの全力が時はなたれるのが待ちきれません。を調べてみましょう。とても興味津々。全ての存在における最古の戦士が誰であるか。
過去の同盟者、別の宇宙や現実から来た全く未知の展示の誰でも良いので、これらの組み合わせの予測不可能性を楽しんでおり、予期せぬ事態に直面してそれぞれがどのように使用するかを確認するつもりです。最も高価で最も施行力のあるものだけが
が生き残る戦いのガントレットとなります。今あなたを待っているのは、あなたがこれまで直面したものよりもはるかに複雑で仮想的で要求の厳しい、全く異なる課題です。オムニーキングスからは第2回ノンリバーサルイートラーメントオブパワー、これまでと同じ方法では開催されないことをお伝えするよう知識がありました。今回はカッコ付き形式で展開され、音も強くフリフォーオールで戦って混沌が吟吟した最初のトーナメントとは異なり、このトーナメントでは集中力と正確さが要求され、試合は戦士たちが1対1で行われ、全ての戦いで自分の能力の限界を示すように設計されています。前回よりもさらに前進し、整理するたびにイベントの中心に近づき、最強のファイターだけが残る最終ブラケットに進みます。この構造は若いファイターを排除するだけでなく、
I like that red and gold on Budo though, man. For those that don't remember, I am from Kansas City, so you know I do like red and gold. And then I also like blue and white, and so it is what it is.
選手ではありません。ヨシトは玉所憑依の達人であり、その能力は非常に陰険で危険であるため、キャレはファイターの潜在能力の真の審査を明らかにするように設計されています。
痛い思いをしたくなければ、まさか俺様の邪魔をする気か。だからどうしたっていう。あんたらの思い通りになるとは限らねえぞ。
人と対峙するということは単に手強い相手と戦うというだけではなく、自らの精神を失い彼の邪悪なゲームの操り人形となる危険を冒すことでもある。操作することを可能にします。ケレが自分の技術を完成させる場所である。このねじれた世界の中でケレは現実の構造そのものに対して自分の魔法の限界をテストしながら
Out of the top 4 strongest, most of them have, well, 3 of them have a similar to Frieza build, and then of course, number 1 has his own fucking vibe going. But the rest of the 3 look like they could be straight from Frieza's planet, just other variations, because we know none of them look the damn same except for him and his father, apparently. Cooler looked like he might not been King Cole's son, but you know he came home and had a baby one day, right? Yes, King, here's your son. This nigga don't look like me.
俺の戦い方を知らないこと、まさか貴様と剣を交わす日が来るとは。次元の違う化け物となって帰ってきたようだ。何でもかんでもてめえみてえなクズがこの俺に何の用？何秒でぶっ殺せるか分かってるか。弱虫らに何を威張っているのか。機械仕掛けが生まれ変わりまた孫悟空の偽物だ。
欺瞞的で危険な世界全体を作り出すことができるからである。彼の敵はこれらの元素の層に閉じ込められ、自分たちがどこにいるのかさえ理解できないことに気づきます。彼の魔術は彼の体の力を許可し、人間よりも早く動けるようにするため、彼は心と同じようにでも致命的だからです。その目は正確に見て攻撃することができる。
Put that motherfucker on the KC Royals hat right there. You see this ass? Hold on. We go back with the R&B, red and black. Come on now. He hit you with a drip can for him too, right? You know, that's what they like to talk about out here. What's the drip kit looking like though? We got on our Dragon Ball pajama pants, what's poppin', slap t-shirt, hoodie, strange music, you know what I mean?
どんな勝負になるのでしょう。
せいぜい楽しませてくれよ。一匹やそこらじゃハエみたいなもんだぜ。
Talk about this, Mike. That's my nephew's YouTube channel. Good thing he on this channel, because you know the kids can't be on the other one.
思いもしませんでした。実況の経験は少ないのですが、俺たちも構えずに見ましょう。きっと目の
離せない勝負になりますよ。なんだかお祭りのような雰囲気ですし、
見知った顔と戦うことになるかもしれませんが、彼らが味方であるとは思わないでください。たくさんのことが待っているからです。あなたはアニアの背後にいるので、生き残ることを望むなら同盟関係はありません。
どちらが先に相手の隙を突くかに勝負はかかってくると思います。実力を測り合っているといったところでしょうか。この戦いの流れを一気につかみました。相手に反撃の隙を与えないつもりなんだと思います。
見散った顔と戦うことになるかもしれませんが、彼らが味方であるとは思わないでください。たくさんのことが待っているからです。あなたはアノアの背後にいるので。
I mean, one can change himself, one can change reality. This motherfucker right here is just what? He can snatch your soul. And then the other one's like just stupid powerful. He can predict the future before it even happens, so he knows what's gonna happen in the fight before you do. Damn. How do you not get your ass beat by these foes? You gotta be Goku, hopefully, because that's how it happened the first time. They had to give him a plot, to give him plot armor, right?
支えエリアをここに建設しますので、
Man, he straight look like a demon to me too.
時間を稼ぐことはできるが、これは
Shit.
な状況であり、彼らに知られずに秘密にされていたものの真相に。
チーム戦ですからね。一人倒れただけでは勝負は決まりません。ここからお互いにどう動くか。仲間が一人減った分気合が入ったみたいですね。
一撃で決められなかった時点で俺の負けは決まっていた。俺の力がどこまで通用するか。俺の暗殺術は簡単には覚えられん。体がタイミングを覚えてきたようだ。
Man, I do want to see a Vegeta versus Budo fight, because that's gonna be fucking heat. Bring that heat from the street. You see, it's all respect. Everybody bowing to everybody. Good to see you, Sama. Yeah, Sama Sama. Grand Prix Sama. Of course, you got the Omni Kings, two little egghead Stewie sitting there chilling. I like how fucking Toriyama did that, though. For the people that didn't know, he trolled the whole audience. He made Stewie a Dragon Ball character that's more powerful than everybody. Hey, shouts out to Go and Stewie. You know.
成長など考えたこともなかった俺にさらなる上を見せたのはそれを確信できた。しかし
求心の忠義を払って維持しなければならないため、慎重に徹底的にこれに取り組む必要がある。なぜなら私が感じたエネルギーは安くて暴力的であるだけでなく、ある意味非常に親しみのあるものでもあって秘密にされていたものの真相に変わろうとしなければならない。これが何であれ、あたかも既存の多元宇宙の空側から血は今感じたそれが何だったのかというこの感情を振り払わずにはいられません。
わわわわわ、彼らがそこに行くのを見てください。しかし彼の方が強いかもしれないので、勝つと思いますか？ブロリハジレンを完全に彼ははるかに強いと思うからです。もっと見るのが待ちきれません。北のステージから発せられるブロリのオーラがまだ見えるので、ああよかった。なぜなら私たちの月9エリアの建設に協力してもらいたいからです。ゲストが観戦できる観客系の追加にも協力してもらいたいのです。リングの周囲にもスクデキエリアを追加してトーナーメントの展開を観戦できるようにしたいと考えています。
Now, I know it might be weird, maybe even a little bit sus, but just trust me, okay? Just shove it in your mouth, Catman.
Say what now? I will do no such thing, Talking Bugman, but what I will do is encourage you all to subscribe to Unrelent Gaming for the latest Dragon Ball content. And while you're at it, make sure to like the video. Also, don't forget to become a member of Unrelent Gaming's Patreon community for more exclusive content, early access, and much, much more. Do it now, or I'll destroy your planet, along with every taco.
Hey, don't just waste the goddamn thing. Pass it here.
Yeah, like they said, go check out Patreon to be ahead of the game. That way y'all can come in here and talk that shit with me, right? Be like, man, yeah, don't be spoiling it for people, but you know, come talk about it with me. You see what I'm saying?
Up-to-date Super Saiyan Azaru, let me come in and keep it trill. 6 trillion right there for you. So that means when baby Vegeta goes Golden Grade Ape, let's see what his numbers are. Because Goku was at 60 trillion in Great Ape form. And that's probably nerfed because, as y'all seen, you gotta add in damage before the multipliers can kick in. You see what I'm saying? So him transforming into a Zaru gave him a 10 times multiplier, but he was in his base form when he first transformed, but this is now him as Super Saiyan. So you gotta take out the Super Saiyan multiplier. Then you gotta take out, well, you add in the Zaru multiplier, but then you gotta, you know, y'all gotta do some basic math for the people that ain't mathing the math.
A video of a video that I had already did. It's video in Inception. Yeah. Gosh. Uh-oh, we got one more.
So, you find yourself on the Unrelent Gaming channel. How fortunate for you. I, Lord Frieza, will spare your life as long as you subscribe and turn on notifications.
Told you he had a nice rollout for the week. Got 2 or 3 good videos. Probably doing some lives. You know, one just do the lives because we be playing video games. We don't be about in video games, although it is entertainment. Just reminding y'all that angels can just, you know, nerf these niggas because they ain't nothing. You said there's a whole power scaling system and y'all motherfuckers ain't nothing. But y'all just shit when y'all go home. Appreciate that fact, right? This is why they are required to have strong women because you still ain't nothing. For those who don't get what he did on his video, it's a soundtrack video. So he's playing his music that he plays during the background for those who don't be paying attention. Because, you know, we appreciate the musical aspect. Hey, you gotta keep up with your music, man. Shouts out to @DJ because, you know, we got our own DJs in-house. Hell, I don't gotta make beats or rap. I just gotta listen to good music that slap. I mean, as usual, that
Now,
music
I
is
know it might be
inspiring.
weird, maybe even a little bit sus, but just trust me, okay? Just shove it in your mouth, Catman.
Say what now? I will do no such thing, Talking Bud Man, but what I will do is encourage you all to subscribe to Unrelent Gaming for the latest Dragon Ball content. And while you're at it, make sure to like the video. Also, don't forget to become a member of Unrelent Gaming's Patreon community for more exclusive content, early access, and much, much more. Do it now, or I'll destroy your planet, along with every taco.
Hey, don't just waste the goddamn thing. Pass it here.
Whoa. See how high that went? That fast. 360 trillion. That's why I said, he said, okay, you want to pull out a Zaru? You want to pull out a Zaru on me, mother lover? No, sorry, Bob, I'm not having it. He said power level 360 trillion. So when you just went Super Saiyan. Shout out to the big homie. Y'all know to go check out at DJ Is. Hey, and come vibe.
Always have a place for you to stay. In the garden, by the door, in the bedroom, on the floor. Remember me when you're far away. I always have a place for you to stay. In the middle of the night, I'm gonna be there till the morning light. Remember me when you're far away. I always have a place for you to stay. In the garden, by the door, in the bedroom, on the floor. Remember me when you're far away. I always have a place for you to stay. In the middle of the night, I'm gonna be there till the morning light. Remember me when you're far away. I always have a place for you to stay. In the garden.